If money were just a matter of effort, the bricklayer who wakes up at 5 a.m. would be a millionaire. That sentence stopped me in my tracks the first time I heard it, because deep down, you know it's true. You've seen people who work less, complain less, and somehow thrive, while others, even working themselves to the bone, stay stuck in the same place. If effort were a guarantee, your bank account would reflect how hard you fight every day. But it doesn't. And that creates a kind of pain no one talks about. The feeling that you're doing everything right, and still it's not working. You follow the advice, work hard, cut expenses, try to manifest positivity, but the money doesn't come, and worse, it seems to slip away faster every month. What no one ever told you, and what you probably never heard anywhere, is that there's an invisible block, ancient, passed down from generation to generation. A silent lock that operates way beneath your awareness, like a code someone wrote into you. And to this day, it's keeping your prosperity from happening. And no, it has nothing to do with positive thinking, nor with studying more, working more, or believing more. This goes deeper. There's a spiritual knowledge that's been protected for over 3,000 years, and it explains exactly why some people attract money like a magnet, and others repel it without even realizing it. Very few have access to it. Even fewer know how to use it. But those who discover it completely change the course of their lives. Now, you might be thinking, if this is real, why doesn't anyone talk about it? Simple. Because no one profits from setting you free. It's more profitable to sell you a new course, a new book, a new magic formula. But in this video, you're going to hear something that wasn't made up yesterday or last week. It was revealed by someone who carries over 70 years of spiritual wisdom. And I only found out about it because, honestly, I was at my lowest point. But before I tell you what she said, a single sentence that changed everything, I need you to really hear this. If you don't understand what's blocking your energy right now, no matter how hard you try, you'll keep feeling like the universe is ignoring you. Maybe the question that brought you here is this: why doesn't money stay with me? And the answer is tied to an old energy you're carrying. An energy that builds up in the water in your body, in the energy of your home, and especially in what you believe to be true about money. And yes, the good news is that there is a way to clear all of it. It involves 3 simple elements: water, salt, and a leaf. But before I explain what to do with them, you're going to understand why these elements hold a spiritual and especially mental power far greater than what you were taught. In the meantime, if this first part already touched something you feel, leave a comment below. I feel this block. That way, you help YouTube understand that this content matters. And you help me share this knowledge with others who need to hear it right now. Now, take a deep breath, because what comes next will stir up memories, beliefs, and truths you didn't even know you were carrying. Why do some people attract money easily and others don't? Have you ever noticed some people just seem born lucky? Everything works out for them. They get a house without struggling. Opportunities show up. They borrow money when they need it. They make connections that open doors. Meanwhile, you work hard. Think 10 times before spending $10 and still live in fear that your card will be declined at the grocery store. Then the silent questions begin. Is there something wrong with me? Am I just unlucky? Do I not deserve it? Those questions hurt. Not because you want to be rich at any cost, but because you're tired of just surviving. You want to breathe easy, pay the bills without fear, buy something without guilt. You just want peace. And even that feels too expensive. And the worst part, you look around and see people with less skill, less effort, less integrity even, thriving. That eats away at you inside. Because at some point, someone made you believe that if you plant, you harvest. But your harvest never comes. You plant, you water, you wait, and nothing sprouts. And maybe you're stuck in an invisible cycle that already affected your parents, your grandparents, and now it's reached you. A silent, energetic repetition passed down from generation to generation. Entire families living as if money belongs to other people, not to us, not for people like us. You grow up hearing phrases like, money doesn't bring happiness. It's better to be honest than rich. If someone has a lot of money, they must have done something shady. To make money, you have to suffer. These phrases seem harmless, but they're slow poison, because every time you repeat them or are simply exposed to that kind of belief, your subconscious builds a program of self-sabotage. You start rejecting opportunities. You feel guilty when you earn more. You spend everything without realizing, just to go back to your place. The money comes in and slips right through your fingers. And the cruelest part? You don't even realize you're sabotaging yourself. It feels like the world is against you, but it's your own internal code that's distorted. And here's the most important point. Unless that code is rewritten, no amount of effort will fix it. You can study, work, save, try 1,000 things. But if the root is still contaminated, the fruits will keep coming out rotten. That's the real problem. It's not lack of intelligence. It's not lack of worthiness. It's not lack of willpower. It's a blocked inner energy, an invisible belief you carry without even knowing it. And that's why some people prosper with ease. They've cleared a path through which money flows. Even without realizing it, they're aligned with the energy of abundance. But what about you? Is your path clear? Or is it filled with emotional mud, negative memories, and limiting beliefs? Before we move on, drop a comment here. I want to clear my path. That phrase, written now, already begins to activate the process of awareness. It's that simple. You don't need to be born into wealth. You don't need a Harvard degree. You don't need to wake up at 5 a.m. or repeat millionaire mantras in the mirror. You just need to reconnect with what was shut off inside you. There is an energy frequency that attracts money. It's not in the words, but in the symbols. Not in books, but in the elements. What I am about to share with you is an ancient ritual. Simple, practical, but powerful. It comes from a lineage of spiritual knowledge that isn't shared on social media, nor found in self-help books. It's been passed down through generations of wise women from the East, guardians of the energetic wisdom of the body and the home. And the most impressive part? You only need water, salt, and a bay leaf. That's it. But don't be fooled. It's not the combination of items that works the miracle. It's the symbolism behind each one of them. And most importantly, the intention with which you perform the ritual. Water carries memory. Salt purifies. Bay leaf activates the energy of manifestation. When used together with guidance, they act like an internal energetic reset, as if you were cleansing not just your mind, but also the emotions trapped in your body over the years. Anger, frustration, fear, guilt, all of it creates blocks. And money is flow. Where there's blockage, there's no flow. This ritual was taught by a woman who dedicated over 70 years of her life to studying the balance between body, mind, and spirit. A Buddhist master who welcomed me in silence looked into my eyes and said, "Money is like water. It only flows where there's space." At the time, I didn't understand. But after she explained it and guided me to do the ritual for 7 days, everything started to clear up. Not just in my finances, but in my energy, in how I related to money, to opportunities, to decisions. And here's the most powerful part. This ritual doesn't require blind faith. It doesn't require religion. It doesn't require belief in anything. It only requires presence and the sincere desire to break the cycle of scarcity that's been following you for years and might not even be yours. Maybe it's your mother's, your grandfather's, generations who struggled just to survive. And now you carry it as if it were part of who you are. But it's not. You can clear it. You can start today, right at home, with what you already have. And in a moment, I'm going to walk you through the ritual step by step. But first, you need to hear the story of someone who proved this works. Not just me, but real people, everyday people, just like you. And to strengthen your intention, drop a comment below. I open myself to abundance. Saying that isn't magic. It's a signal to your subconscious, to the universe, and to yourself. It was a cloudy afternoon when I arrived at that temple. Silence, incense, no signs, no clocks, just the sound of distant bells and a gentle breeze that felt like it spoke to the soul. I didn't go there searching for spiritual answers. I went because I was at my breaking point, in debt, anxious, unable to sleep, and worst of all, feeling like nothing made sense anymore. A friend told me about this woman, said she had no website, didn't answer the phone, didn't advertise, but that everyone who came out of there came out changed. When I walked in, she was already sitting. She didn't ask my name. She didn't want to know what I did. She just looked at me for a long while, uncomfortable, almost painful. And then she said, "You're carrying stagnant water inside you." At first, I almost laughed. I thought it was a metaphor, some kind of spiritual poetry, but she continued, "Water that doesn't move rots, and everything that rots attracts misery." That hit me deep. She explained that inside us there's a field, a flow, and that this flow can be interrupted by trauma, beliefs, family memories, and even the places we walk through. Every time we suffer in silence, every time we swallow our tears, every time we settle for less than we deserve, the water inside us closes up, gets repressed, gets contaminated. And that's when she gave me the ritual. She didn't write it down. She didn't send it by message. She taught it with her hands like she was drawing in the air. She showed me how to hold the bay leaf, how to dissolve the salt in the water, how to place the glass beside the bed for 7 nights, and how to speak a simple phrase before going to sleep. But she gave a warning. If you do it without intention, it won't work. If you do it expecting a miracle, it won't work. But if you do it with sincerity, something will shift. And that's how I started, with doubt, afraid of being disappointed again, but also with the feeling that, for the first time, I wasn't buying a formula, I was receiving wisdom. During the first few days, nothing happened, but something started moving inside. Less anxiety, deeper sleep, clearer dreams, and a sense of peace that I hadn't felt in years. It wasn't about money yet. It was about energy, like I was finally coming home. On the 8th day, something nudged me. Check your email. There it was, a reply from months ago, a job offer I had completely forgotten about. I replied. I restarted. And from that point on, things started to flow. But the most important part, it wasn't luck. It was cleansing. It was reconnection. And now, this same ritual is going to be yours too. But before I guide you through it, you need to hear the story of someone who started with even less, Rosa, single mom, desperate, and today transformed. Rosa was 58 years old, had 2 young kids, and a pantry with more bills than food. A single mother, she got by doing odd jobs as a house cleaner. One day, after yet another no, when she tried to get groceries on credit, she locked herself in the bathroom and cried for 40 minutes, not out of weakness, but because she couldn't keep pretending to be strong. She said the worst part wasn't the lack of money. It was the shame of looking at her kids and feeling like she was failing. It was the fear of getting sick, of something happening to her, of simply not being able to go on. And when you live in that level of constant tension, it's like the world stops seeing you. Doors close, people disappear. You slip into a dark place where even dreaming feels dangerous. That's when she heard about the ritual. A friend from church mentioned it in passing, said something about water, salt, and bay leaf. Rosa didn't really understand, but that night she grabbed a glass, some kitchen salt, an old bay leaf she found in a spice jar, and placed it next to her bed. She said a prayer she could remember, half improvised, half skeptical, but she did it. On the first night, she slept deeply. On the second, she cried without knowing why. On the third, she felt a lightness she hadn't felt in years. She said the most surprising part wasn't what happened outside. It was what changed inside. She started speaking more firmly, stopped accepting scraps from the people who hired her, found the courage to say no, to ask for more, to take a stand. That's when a neighbor referred Rosa to clean the apartment of a man who had just lost his wife. She almost said no. She was tired, worn out, but she went. At the end of the day, after seeing how carefully Rosa handled every detail, the man asked, "Are you looking for something permanent?" He owned 3 properties. He needed someone to manage and take care of everything. He offered a salary, housing, and stability. The following week, Rosa and her kids were somewhere else, with food, with beds, with peace. But what touched Rosa the most happened 3 weeks later. She got a call from a distant relative. An old family plot of land that had been tied up in court for years was finally released, and she was the direct heir. She sold the land, paid off all her debts, saved the rest, and she said, "It wasn't luck. It was when I cleared mud that the river could flow." Today, Rosa teaches the ritual to other women. She says there's no magic formula, but there is something stronger: inner clarity. And if you related to any part of this story, drop a comment now. I'm like Rosa too. You have no idea how powerful that phrase is when written with sincerity. Because while you think you're alone, there are thousands of Rosas out there, just waiting for a sign, and maybe your sign is this video. Before I teach you the ritual, I want you to understand one thing. What you do matters, but how you do it changes everything. Yes, this ritual is simple, but it's more than just a sequence of actions. It's an intention set into motion. It's you telling the universe with truth and presence, I'm ready to step out of scarcity. You'll need 3 elements you probably already have at home. A clear glass cup, clean water, tap, filtered, or mineral. 1 teaspoon of coarse salt or regular salt. 1 dried bay leaf, nothing else. Step 1. Preparing the glass. Fill the glass with water until it's about 3/4 full. Then add the salt and stir slowly clockwise, using a spoon or clean fingers. While stirring, repeat silently or softly out loud if you prefer, I dissolve here all energy of scarcity. Take a deep breath. Feel the gentle sound of the water, the touch of the cool glass. This isn't just a glass of water and salt. It's a symbol. You're creating an energetic field, a space for reconnecting with abundance. Step 2. The bay leaf. Hold the leaf mindfully. Notice the details, the fine veins, the dry green tone, the slightly bitter scent. Bay leaf represents the realization of what once seemed impossible. Since ancient Greece, it's been a symbol of victory, honor, and blessing. Place the leaf gently on the surface of the water. Let it float. Then say, with presence, I open myself to receive what is rightfully mine. This phrase is a release. You're not asking, you're allowing, you're saying yes to the prosperity that should already be flowing. Step 3. Placement of the ritual. Place the glass beside your bed, on the same side where you sleep. If that's not possible, place it near the entrance of your home. For 7 consecutive nights, it will stay there, in silence, at work, cleansing what your eyes can't see, but your energy can feel. Step 4. Intention phrase before sleep. Before falling asleep, with the lights off and the room at peace, say, may everything that blocks my prosperity be taken away. May all that I am and deserve begin to flow again. Say it with sincerity. You don't need to repeat it many times. Once truly felt is enough. Close your eyes. Breathe. Let the ritual continue working even as you sleep. Important. After the 7 days, discard the water and bay leaf with respect. You can pour it down the drain or into the earth, but do it while mentally expressing gratitude. Wash the glass as you normally would. If you'd like, you can repeat the ritual after 21 days, but only if you feel the time is right. Now, close your eyes for a few seconds. Imagine the water inside you beginning to move, clear, free, alive. Feel the lightness coming in, as if the weight is starting to dissolve, as if a new chapter is beginning right now. If this resonated with you, leave a comment. The water is already moving in me. This simple gesture strengthens what's being built, inside and out. If you made it this far, something inside you has already started to shift. Because true transformation doesn't start with money. It starts with the energy in the way you see yourself, with the intention not to repeat the past. The ritual of water, salt, and bay leaf isn't a magic formula, but it is a portal, a small door that invites you to step through. No noise, no wild promises, just the subtle feeling that something has finally started to flow. What matters isn't the glass. It's the space you created around it. It's what you began to release internally when you stirred that water. It's what you allowed to happen when, for the first time in a long time, you said, "I open myself to receive." The universe doesn't ignore those who are in motion. And you are. In the coming days, pay attention. Maybe an unexpected invitation will come. A new idea. Money you thought was long gone. Or, even more important, a sense of calm you forgot existed. Because when scarcity leaves, silence enters. And it's in that silence that abundance finds space. Rosa still lives that transformation today. So do I. And now, maybe it's your turn. If this journey touched something deep within you, leave a comment. I choose to stay on this path. That phrase is more than a comment. It's a commitment to yourself. And if you felt this video helped you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to breathe again. Sometimes all we need is a chance to start over, even if it begins with a glass of water. If you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. Here, the content is different. It's for those who are ready to leave the mud and let the river flow. In the next videos, we'll dive deeper into rituals, blockages, and real stories from people who are clearing the path out of scarcity. The journey is only just beginning.